Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you Next War, World War III. Yeah, it's been, how long has it been? What's today? Today is, what is today? Today is Thursday. I think it's the 14th. Let me look real quick. Yeah, it's Thursday the 14th in the year of our Lord 2021. So I think the last time I probably did a video was almost a week ago. So yeah, I did some other, I was playing a guy online. So Sunday is my live vassal play. I play this guy from Sweden. We play for about 3 hours. So I don't usually do any of what you're seeing here on the camera. I don't usually do that on Sunday because I just do my 3 hours and then veg out the rest of the day. Probably playing video games or whatever. Then I had to do a little bit of work this week. I know, terrible, right? So I think the last time we were together, the last time we played games together, the last time we interacted, I ended the air naval phase, so now I'm in the special forces phase. So the special forces, there's quite a few special forces units on the board now, at least with the Allies. Because Germany jumped in, France jumped in, so, you know, that's kind of how world wars go, right? They start out small and then they just slowly start. It's like a singularity, right? It just starts pulling everybody in. So everybody's starting to get pulled in slowly. So I'm trying out these tokens. Let me get my viewfinder up so I can actually see. So I got these. Kind of hard to see, but these are from Litco. All my tokens, anytime you see tokens on here, right? Well, if you see the plastic ones, most likely they're from Litco. But these are little blip markers, but they look like they're targeted, right? So they're a little bit bigger than I thought they were going to be. You can kind of see, you can see one here. The main reason I want it is because you can see through it, right? So now I don't have to unstack as much stuff to see what's underneath. But unfortunately, as you can see, it takes up a lot more real estate in the hex. So I don't know how well it's going to work. We'll try. Can you see him? No, you can't see him up there. But you know, I've got a whole stack of these things that I bought. I don't know how well they're going to work. If they don't work, then you know what? They don't work. So, but I figured I'd try it. But anyway, back to the special forces. So let's see. We successfully targeted this supply depot. Well, that slides a little bit more easily too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the token works. So anyway, successfully targeted that depot. Successfully targeted the Chinese detected or targeted. There's a headquarters underneath there. And also another good thing is like, so that targeting token is underneath a lot of stuff. I can tell by looking at it now from the side, because when you look at, like, see this stack right here, I don't know what token that, I don't know what that is, right? I can assume that it's a detection marker, but it could be something else. But I see this here, and now I know there's a target or a detected unit there. So, you know, who knows? We'll see. If these Litco tokens were just a little bit smaller, I think they would be better, but hey. It is what it is. So, enough about the tokens. Anyway, so the Chinese successfully targeted that headquarters underneath there. That Special Forces unit did not survive. I believe the Chinese are completely out of Special Forces missions for Taiwan. Or maybe I should say that a different way. All of them have been eliminated. So they still have some for Vietnam, which they can always transfer back over to Taiwan. But basically everything in Taiwan, all the Special Forces units that were allocated and dedicated to Taiwan have now been eliminated. So the Chinese basically cannot keep Special Forces. And then the Allies also targeted the detection and SAM tracks for China, and they were able to reduce each one of those by 1. I do not believe that the Allies lost any Special Forces missions this turn. So there you have it. Now I have to go over to Korea, and there's a lot of them in Korea. All right, so you can see here we're doing the detection in SAM tracks again. We're going to try to target that depot. We're going to try to strike that helicopter interdiction. It's probably not a good use of that because they can still get down this road, but whatever. I believe we're going to try to, there's the headquarters, the parent headquarters to this, what is it? It is the, I don't know what the name of that town is, but it's the MRL. It's this, whatever the headquarters to this artillery brigade is underneath them, and that's what we're targeting. We're going to target, I believe, the 425th Corps headquarters, or strike it actually. It's already been detected. We're going to try to hit that helicopter. The North Koreans are going to try to hit that helicopter. They're going to try to take out the 2nd Infantry Division's Apache. That would be pretty good hit for the Americans. That's quite a few victory points. We're going to try to detect and then raid this, that. I think they have to be detected to be raided. So, yeah, there we go. So that's it so far. And I still have, if you look over here, I have this is a huge stack of Special Forces markers for Vietnam. So that's quite a few. And then the Chinese, they have 3 left. So they might end up after this turn transferring some of these over to Taiwan. But we'll see. So I'll be back with the results in a little bit. Alright, so Special Forces phase is over for Korea. We managed to reduce the Allies by, I mean Allies, they reduced the SAM track by 1. They were able to cause a step loss on that headquarters that's underneath that artillery, because we rolled a 0, that's a step loss. So that was good if you're the Allies. Although that headquarters is still there, so he's still able to provide his supply benefits. So we need to get rid of that headquarters if we want to, really affect those 2 artillery brigades. We're able to cause a strike, well, not a strike, a step loss on that helicopter. What else? I don't think much else happened for the Allies. The North Koreans were able to take out that helicopter there because they only have 1 step. So those guys are dead. Alright everybody, Special Forces phase is completed for everybody. So it looks like the Chinese were able to successfully detect that headquarters and that headquarters. I don't think they lost any Special Forces units. And then it looks like the Allies were able to detect that MSU. They were able to detect the headquarters. This is a reduced headquarters underneath here. And then I believe we had 2 Vietnamese special. There were some other missions that I had plotted out here. I didn't bother leaving them on the map. But the Vietnamese lost 2 Special Forces units. But there's still plenty. We got the French that have popped in and a couple of others. I mean, I know we did try to target these helicopter units to try to reduce them, and we were unsuccessful doing that. But there you have it. So we had success here, 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 and here. So with all that, with the Special Forces operations phase over, now we are into the first strike. Actually, I think it's is it the first strike? It is a strike phase. I don't know if it's the first or the second. Let me look. Yes, it is the first strike phase, because you do have that. I believe it is yes, it's the second strike phase that we do not have because these are contested turns. So first strike phase will be up next. All right, everybody. I have finished the Allied half of the strike phase for Taiwan. So obviously there was some detection track stuff going on, or some ADF. So Allies get those wonderful wild weasels. So yeah, I sent them in, and between cyber, so cyber temporarily reduces it by 2. It was obviously successful. The Chinese did try some cyber, but the Allies were able to counter hack them. So they tried to hack, and the Allies counter hacked. So the detection track was at a 7, and the SAM was at a 6. Now the detection track is at a 5, but temporarily down to a 3, and SAM has been reduced to 4. So the Allies are nailing the ADF tracks. The Allies are starting to gain some ground here. And also, we had one strike going after that. There's a supply depot under there. It was detected and had the -2 targeting. It was a little bit overkill. But I wanted to make sure that I got it right. So sending an F-15 and a stealth bomber. They both have strike ratings of 5, which is awesome. They were early detected, and I was like, here we go, man. My stealth bombers, they don't have a very good track record with me. They almost always get shot down inexplicably, right? And obviously, if I'd have had just a stealth bomber, he wouldn't have been detected, right? Because when you have nothing but stealth units, it's almost impossible to detect them. But you know, I wanted 2 planes that had really good strike ratings going in to try to hit the supply depot. So there was early ADF, but thankfully, because the Wild Weasels reduced that SAM track down, they were not able to hit that particular strike with surface-to-air missiles. So I rolled the dice. I wish I'd have had that on camera. I rolled 2 zeros, which is like, you know what? That never happened. So that supply depot is destroyed. The Chinese are going to have to start sweating a little bullets a little bit here, because right now they control the inshore box, so they'll still be able to get some supply through the beachhead. But once the Allies get that inshore box, it's going to be ugly. And here's part 2 to the Allied strikes. They're obviously going to start working on the Taiwan Straits. So let's see what we can see here. So I sent the carrier battle groups that are in the Taiwan Straits. They scrambled all of their fighters. We attacked this AMP and this AMP because they were point detected. I was able to get a strike 2 marker on this one. So this AMP, he does have a mechanized infantry brigade in there. He is going to end up retreating back to the China holding box. I don't think nothing happened here. This was already in place. This plane was aborted. This one SAM fire from the amps. So this one had a +1. There was no effect. These 2 were effective enough to cause that amp to retreat back. During the movement phase, these guys are going to end up going back to the PRC holding box anyway, because they don't have any ground assets on them. So they were going to head. These guys were heading back to PRC anyway to pick up more troops. But there will soon be no Chinese units. Well, they're going to have the subs, but subs they're not going to be. They're not surface ships, right? They can't hold ground, so to speak. So anyway, there we go. Taiwan Straits are very close to be falling into into Allied control. Let's go ahead and talk about the PRC plan here for the strike phase. Let's see, what can we see here? So we're going to do 2 helo strikes. They are going for these units here. Try to weaken those a little bit. We're trying an airstrike on this top unit here. It's a risky move by China because they have no air cover. So there are no planes in the air superiority box. So if this guy gets detected, he's probably going to get shot down. But China decided to risk it. But they only sent up the 1. It wasn't like they were sending everything they had. So they're going to send the 1. And then also we're doing a helo strike on that unit there. So China has... They're kind of wanting this spot right here. If they can get that foothold into Taichung, that would be a good thing. And now, obviously, with the developments, with the supply depot being destroyed and the straits just about ready to fall into, or the Chinese losing control of the Taiwan Straits is definitely going to be time for the Chinese to start rethinking what they're doing. But I have to resolve the China stuff, and then we will be done, almost done, with the strike phase, at least for Taiwan. All right, I have just resolved the PRC's strike phase, and it didn't go well. Of course, the Allies rolled really, really low anyway, but the Allies have a detection of 8 and a SAM of 7, so, you know, the fact that they have such high detections and they rolled really low, all right, it did not help the Chinese. So this guy was basically aborted and damaged. So he got turned around and went home. Obviously, we scrambled some pretty good shots. The F-35 in its long-range attack did all the damage it needed to do, and he turned tail and went home. This helo strike, of course, they were all detected, right? And the helos roll on the local detection track, which you have to roll like a 2 or lower, and the Allies, again, they rolled really well. So detected, I think that guy was aborted. This guy was damaged and had a +1 to the die roll due to AAA. This guy took a lot of incoming AAA and flak, so basically no effect for all those helos. And of course the Chinese, this is one of their better strike aircraft too, so he's definitely damaged now. So not good for the Chinese, and it's probably that trend is going to continue. So good job, Allies, and you know, good game, PRC. All right, everybody. So I've been thinking about this. I've never done this in any game that I've played so far, but I think I'm going to try it and let's see what happens. So, what is this try it thing that you're talking about, Sean? Well, if you look right here in Seoul, I'm going to try a nuclear attack. So the DPRK, the Democratic People's Republic, has decided they're going to nuke. They're going to drop a nuke on Seoul. And so technically it's supposed to happen at the beginning of the strike phase. I did do the Wild Weasel portion of the Allies first, and I started to allocate. I kind of got out of order, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But the nuclear attack is supposed to happen first. So it's 3 VPs to the Allies for dropping a nuke, which is kind of crazy in my mind. But whatever. All right, let's try it. So since I've never done it before, so we have to do Rule 14.3.8, which is Global Thermonuclear War. So we have to roll and see if this ends in all-out nuclear warfare. So the Allies are not going to drop a nuke. We have used chemical weapons. So basically, that's a -2 to the die roll. If the die roll is less than or equal to the total number of nuclear attack markers on the map, then we go to global thermonuclear war. So there's only one marker on the map with a -2 DRM because chemical weapons have been used by the North Koreans. So let's see what happens. Yes. So. Here we go. I've never used this marker before. So it is here. You can't really see it all that great, but there we go. There's my mushroom cloud. So there's a mushroom cloud over Seoul, and the game immediately ends in global thermonuclear war. I didn't really intend on that happening. but yeah, I really don't know what to do right now. I didn't expect to roll lower than the number of nuclear weapons markers on the map. So, you know what? I tell you what, I'm going to leave it up to you guys as to kind of what I should do. I think at the least, most likely, that the war would... you know what? I don't know. I'm not even going to say anything else. So technically the game is over. I'll go ahead and post this, and I'll get everybody's reactions. So I'm going to leave everything set up for now, just in case. But yeah, very interesting development. So Yeah, there's a mushroom cloud over Seoul right now. Well, there you go. There's the mushroom cloud again. So, alrighty. Alright, folks. Well, so I did some exercise and stuff with a buddy of mine, so I had to kind of put the game on pause. So anyway, Seoul has been nuked. So we need to figure out what kind of yield we have. Oh, and by the way, we also have global thermonuclear war. So basically the world has been nuked. But, you know, maybe I'll keep playing the game. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But let's see if we have a full yield. So on a 9, ooh, you roll again. If the roll is even, treat as a full yield. All right. Ah, another 9. Okay. How does that see now? See, this is what I don't understand. I don't understand how this is going to work. All right. And after rolling for once all markers are allocated to target hexes, and after rolling for global thermonuclear war, resolve each nuclear attack marker by rolling 1 die. So, well, we did the global thermonuclear war, which, by the way, for those of you that are wondering, it is in the Vietnam game-specific rules, rule 14.3.8. So, the game ended, right? But I was just trying to figure out what actually happened with the nuclear device. Because if we got a full yield, let's see what happens. Any units that are in the target hex lose 1 step. That seems kind of tame, right? That seems kind of like, okay, we just dropped a nuke, but yet we have units that are still alive. So everybody takes a step loss, and surviving units take a strike 2. So we're going to do that. Actually, the weapon malfunctioned, but we still had global thermonuclear war, so I don't really know what to do. Oh boy, I didn't intend on that. I was kind of thinking that the weapon would do some stuff. So anyway, so I know I'm rambling, right? All right, so everybody in the target hex, if the weapon had gone off, takes a step loss and receives a strike 2 marker. So I think that's 4 units in that hex, or they would have. So it would have been that headquarters. All right, you're definitely dead. And that headquarters. So we would have had 1 dead unit and then 2 units, 2 headquarters with step loss strike 2. The efficiency, once successfully resolved, a nuclear attack, this is full yield by the way, a nuclear attack marker is never removed. In addition, has the following effects. The ER of a unit is affected by proximity to the hex as follows. Ground 0, any allied or SRV unit in a hex or island hex with a nuclear attack marker has its efficiency reduced by 4 while in the target hex. All other units have their efficiency reduced by 3. This effect does not apply to non-island. Okay, Fallout. Any unit in a hex adjacent to or in the land area containing the nuclear attack marker has its efficiency reduced by 2. There's a movement penalty for leg and light infantry, motorized and mechanized. It's an additional 4 movement points. Got it. You can't trace supply through it. There were no facilities or anything in that hex. It was just an urban hex. So really it's not quite as much as I thought it would be. I kind of thought that there would be like mass destruction, like it would take out a lot of units. It doesn't seem to do that. But then there's a withdrawal check. Use of a PRC nuclear weapon may cause allied nationalities to withdraw if they have intervened. So basically, in my mind, the way the scenario went out was the Chinese supplied the Koreans with a weapon. They decided to use it, so I would probably roll to see if units, or not units, but nationalities withdraw. So how that would work You roll a die. On a roll of 4 or more, Commonwealth and French forces withdraw from the conflict. On a roll of 5 or more, U.S. forces withdraw from the conflict. Any nation that does not withdraw increases its intervention level. So basically, they're kind of doubling down, right? Like, if they don't withdraw, then it makes them even more angry. But this is the weird thing that just kind of happened here, right? So I roll for global thermonuclear war, right? So to see if the other countries respond. And this isn't like America. I decided that the Allies weren't going to retaliate. But that doesn't mean that other nuclear armed people wouldn't retaliate. So there was global thermonuclear war. But then the follow-on rolls had a dud nuke. So who knows how to handle it. So the fact is, a nuke was launched, so the other countries retaliated, and then while all these nuclear missiles are in the air, the initial nuclear missile's a dud, but the other ones can't be recalled. So that's kind of the way this scenario kind of played out, but I don't know. Whatever. I guess the big question is, we're going to move these guys out of the way here. We're going to move these guys out of the way, and we're going to put this guy right there. He takes up the whole hex. That's the only problem. He takes up way more than a hex. Yep, and I can't get around him. All right. All right, there you got a street level view of the mushroom cloud that is, well, I guess kind of blooming over Seoul. Again, this is one of those weird situations. It's not weird dice rolls, right? This is one of the problems with doing random rolls sometimes. Is honestly, this one didn't work out right. So I don't know. I keep harping on it, but according to the rules, the game is over. So just want to know if there's any opinions out there on how I should resolve this, because I don't know. I don't know what to do right now. Anyway, I guess I'll end it right there and let's let the audience decide.